Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Śrī Caitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा। Dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita session. Today is September 29th, 2025. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 9. We started a new chapter on Friday. Actually, on Thursday, we didn't have a class on Friday. So this chapter is entitled Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu's travels to the holy places. So Mahaprabhu continues on his South Indian tour after departing, after parting with or from Ramananda Rai. Mahaprabhu continued on his journey. So we saw that Mahaprabhu went to Vidyanagar. But what we read in, so in Vidyanagar or in South India, what we read was that, okay, let me see if you remember. One analogy is given. Anyone remembers what is the analogy that we discussed about what was going on in South India when Mahaprabhu went? Don't remember. Okay, I'll give you some more.
In
Yes,
Vidya,
Mataji.
in Vidyanagar, specifically, if you're asking, there were people of different faiths.
Yes, correct. And so what happened to them, Mataji, when Mahaprabhu went?
When Mahaprabhu went, they all became devotees.
Yes, very nice. So there was one comparison given of one pastime of the Lord with this situation. The people with these different philosophies. So there was Mayavad philosophy and there were different philosophies that were prevalent. So all these different philosophies were compared to. So this pastime, what is that pastime that is compared to here? From Bhagavatam. Doesn't ring a bell. Okay. Okay. Gajendra Moksha. It's compared to Gajendra Moksha. You remember what is the comparison here? Okay. So these different people, people with different philosophies. So these different philosophies, particularly, they are compared to the crocodile. And people with different philosophies. So those various philosophies other than bhakti. So those philosophies. So people were caught up in these various philosophies. So those people, South Indian people, were like elephants, very strong, powerful people, but they were in the grip of these various philosophies, which are compared to crocodile. So Mahaprabhu, who is none, so Mahaprabhu, and in Gajendra Moksha, it was Lord Hari who came to rescue them. So the same Supreme Lord, Mahaprabhu. And how did the Lord rescue Gajendra? He released his Sudarshan Chakra and cut that, what you call, crocodile's head. And that's how he released Gajendra from that difficulty. So in this case, what was that Sudarshan Chakra released by Mahaprabhu to cut these people, not people, cut these philosophies and liberate the people from all these various philosophies and turn them to pure devotional service. What did he release? What is that Sudarshan Chakra released by Mahaprabhu? His mercy. His mercy. So by his mercy, he actually delivered all the people of South India. So therefore, we saw that when Mahaprabhu went there, everybody turned to devotees. All people of South India became devotees. They were actually caught up in philosophies like Buddhism, Jainism, and Mayavad philosophies. But by Mahaprabhu's mercy, with his chakra of mercy, he delivered all the people of South India. Then also we read that Mahaprabhu's South Indian tour was Ati Vilakshana. That means very extraordinary. Why? Because he visited many thousands of places of pilgrimage in South India when he went there. Thousands of places. Sahasra. Many thousands of holy places Mahaprabhu visited. So, se saba tīrtha sparshi mahatirtha kara. Why he went there to all these places? Because that was an excuse actually to go and visit all the holy places. Actually, by going there, by his touch, he was transforming those places which were already holy places. By his touch, he was turning them into mahatirtha. Those which were tirthas before, now they became mahatirtha. If you remember, Srila Prabhupada quoted a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, tīrthi kurvanti tīrthani. Tirthas become holy because of the presence of holy men. So it is really the devotees of the Lord who are carrying the Lord in their hearts. It is those devotees who are actually purifying these holy places, making these holy places so potent by their presence there. So Mahaprabhu went there, and by his touch, he actually converted those holy places into, mahatirthas. And also, say chale, say deshara loka nistarila. So by this trick of going on a tour to South India, his intention was to deliver all the people of South India, and he did that. Okay. So then also in the purport we had read, if you remember, how people go to, dump all their sinful reactions in holy places by taking baths in the rivers in the holy places like that. So where do all these sins go? How are they counteracted? By the visit of great personalities, great Vaishnavas. Mahaprabhu is, of course, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but playing the role of a devotee. So, by the visit of great personalities like Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu and his strict followers, the contaminations that are piled up, they are all counteracted. So, Prabhupada gave the example of how in a hospital many diseased people go. So, there are many types of infections in the hospital, but the hospital is always kept clean, disinfected by sterilization, etc., by the hospital management. So, like that, holy places, people go on pilgrimage to get rid of all their sins. But because of the presence of holy people, all these sins are counteracted. So now let's read the next verse. Text 5. So this is Madhya Lila, chapter 9, text 5. Let me share the screen. Sei saba tīrthera krama kahite na pāri, dakṣiṇa-vāme tīrtha-gamana haya pherāpheri. So it is already mentioned, sahasra tīrtha, that means thousands and thousands of holy places Mahaprabhu visited just in South India. Sei saba tīrthera krama kahite na pāri. It's not possible for me to give you the chronological order, right, in which Mahaprabhu visited, the order in which, the sequence in which he visited all these thousands and thousands of temples. It's not within my power to give you that. Sei saba tīrthera krama kahite na pāri. I cannot tell you the order in which he visited all these holy places. dakṣiṇa-vāme tīrtha-gamana hoy pherāpheri. So dakṣiṇa-vāme. Dakshina means south, but also right. Vama means left. So dakṣiṇa-vāme means right or left, right and left. Tīrtha-gamana. Gamana means going. Tirtha means to holy places. Tīrtha-gamana hoy pherāpheri. Going and coming back. Let's see. I cannot chronologically record all the places of pilgrimage visited by Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. I can only summarize everything by saying that the Lord visited all holy places, right and left, coming and going. You got what is said there? So, that means, so he went to South India on the left side and came back on the right side, like that, coming and going. So he covered all the places on the right side of South India and on the left side of South India. So while going to South India, he covered, let's say, left side. And while coming back, he covered all the places on the right side. That much I can tell you. But exactly what all the places in chronological order, first which place and then which place, some important places he has given, certainly. But to give all the names of all the thousands and thousands of holy places that Mahaprabhu visited and in order, he's saying, I cannot do that. It's not possible for me to give you all that, he's saying. But in summary, I can say, also the thing is, that is one thing, but also, just simply giving that list would make this book so bulky. Just the list of all the places visited. Right. So that's also there. So he's saying it's not possible to give all that. I cannot give you the entire chronological order. I can only summarize it. And in summary, I can tell you that dakṣiṇa-vāme tīrtha-gamana hoy pherāpheri. Going and coming, he covered all the places on the left and right side. Like that. Ataeva nāma-mātra kariye gaṇana. Kahite na pāri tāra yathā anukrama. Nāma-mātra, for namesake, kariye gaṇana. I will count. I will list. But this is just for namesake. Don't take it literally that this is all the places that he visited. No. Just some, I listed some. Just like we see in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And there we will see that there is a, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. So 19 and 20 is Krishna Balaram. Then after that, you will see 21, you will see Lord Buddha and Lord Kalki, like this. I think 22 avatars, either 22 or 23, I forget. Total number is listed. Now, does that mean there's only 23 or 22 avatars of the Lord? No, that is just samples. So, before giving the list of avatars, how many types of avatars is there is said. You have the Guna avatars, Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. Then you have Manvantara avatars. That means in each Manvantara there is an avatar coming. Our current Manvantara is Vaivasvata Manvantara, the 7th Manvantara. And who is the avatar of the current Manvantara? Who is the Manvantara avatar? Vamandev. Yes. So like that, Manvantara avatars. Then Yuga avatars. Satya, Treta, Dwapar, Kali, there are Yuga avatars. In Satya, by color, you know the Yuga avatars. Satya Yuga, white. Treta Yuga, red. Dwapar Yuga, black or blackish. And Kali Yuga is golden or yellow. These are the colors of Yuga avatars. And apart from this, you have Leela avatars, like Matsyadev, then Lord Ramchandra, like Varahadev, they perform Leela when they come. Leela avatars are there. Then you also have Shakti-avesh avatars, like Narad Muni, Kumaras, Prithu Maharaj, like this. Naranarayan Rishi, Shakti-avesh avatars. Not Naranarayan Rishi, but Narad Muni, then what do you say? Prithu Maharaj, Kumaras, they're all Shakti-avesh avatars. Parashuram, like this. So different types of avatars is listed. And after listing, then the counting starts. Number 1, first avatar is Kumaras. Second avatar is Varahadev. Third is Narad Muni. It goes on like that. There is no particular order. It is not like that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is not, it is just counting. It doesn't mean this is all there are, or it doesn't mean that this is of particular category of avatars. Some avatars are Shakti-avesh avatars and some are directly the Supreme Personality, Swamsha expansions, like that. But like a sample, just a few are counted and said to us. But we shouldn't think this is all the avatars there are. No. At the end of that list, after saying, Krishna, ete chamsa kala pumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. After that, after listing everything, after Kalki avatar, then it is said there are many, Manvantara avatars are there, and then the Shakti-avesh avatars are there. Then it is said there are unlimited avatars who are coming at every minute, like the waves of an ocean. The way waves are coming constantly, like this, avatars are coming constantly. Is there any way you can count how many avatars there are? And in every species, avatars are coming to deliver the people of all different species. It's not that the Lord is only coming in the human community. He's coming as, in the human community as an avatar. He's coming in every species, every species. All that cannot be listed. It's not possible. So some are counted. So similarly, here also Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying that it's not possible for me to give you all the places that the Lord visited and in chronological order. It's not possible. But still, I will give you the list. But don't think this is all there is. Nāma-mātra kariye gaṇana. For namesake, just for the sake of counting, I'm going to count and I'll give you a list of places that he visited. Kahite na pāri tāra yathā anukrama. And I cannot give you the exact chronology also. because it is impossible for me to record all these places in chronological order, I will simply make a token gesture of recording them. Pūrvavat pathe yāite, jāite je pāye darshan, jai grāme jai se grāmera yata jana, sabai vaishnava hoy kohe Krishna Hari, anya grāma nistaraye sei vaishnava kori. Pūrvavat pathe jaite je pāye darshan. Pūrvavat, like before. Already Mahaprabhu started his South India travel now, isn't it? He went to Kurmakshetra and, he went to Lord Nrsingadev's place, like that. He already started traveling in South India. So the way he did it previously, Pūrvavat, pathe jaite je pāye darshan. Whoever got his darshan on the way while he is traveling, jai grāme jai se grāmera yata jana. Sabai Vaishnava hoy. So whoever saw him and whichever village he visited, all the people of that village and any person who saw him on the way while he is traveling, Sabai Vaishnava hoy kohe Krishna Hari. Everyone became Vaishnavas simply by seeing him. Just by seeing him, coming in contact with him, villages and villages were turning into Vaishnavas and they're taking to chanting Krishna, Hari, like that. Anya grāma nistaraye sei Vaishnava kori. And not only that, now whoever came in contact with Mahaprabhu, whichever village that person went, he would convert all that village also into Vaishnavas. Like a chain reaction, it was happening. Pūrvavat pathe jāite je pāye darshan, jai grāme jai se grāmera yata jana, sabai Vaishnava hoy kohe Krishna Hari, anya grāma nistaraye sei Vaishnava kori. As previously stated, all the residents of the villages visited by Lord Caitanya became Vaishnavas and began to chant Hari and Kirtan. In this way, in all the villages visited by the Lord, everyone became a Vaishnava, a devotee. So all the villages that Mahaprabhu visited, they all turned into Vaishnavas. And it is said Mahaprabhu covered all the holy places. So everyone turned into Vaishnavas. Purport. The holy names of Krishna and Hari, or the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, are so spiritually powerful that even today, as our preachers go to the remote parts of the world, people immediately begin chanting Hare Krishna. Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. There cannot be anyone who can compare to him or his potencies. However, because we are following in his footsteps and are also chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the effect is almost as potent as during the time of Lord Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Our preachers mainly belong to European and American countries, yet by the grace of Lord Caitanya, they have tremendous success wherever they go to open branches. Indeed, everywhere people are very seriously chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very significant point here. So the point is, wherever Mahaprabhu went, people started immediately taking to the chanting of Krishna's names, chanting Hari, Krishna, like that, by coming in contact with Mahaprabhu. In this way, in all the villages visited by the Lord, everyone became a Vaishnava, a devotee. What is Srila Prabhupada saying? The potency of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra is so spiritually powerful that the effect that was seen when Mahaprabhu was personally present. Who is Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu? He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. But so when he was going, this was the effect. Everybody was turning into Vaishnavas. There cannot be anyone who can compare to him or his potencies. Is it possible that the way when Mahaprabhu is going, and anyone who is seeing him immediately is turning into devotees. Can that be done by any other person? So Srila Prabhupada is saying there cannot be anyone who can compare to him or his potencies. However, because we are following in his footsteps and are also chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, so Srila Prabhupada is not saying that now also I am getting the same success because I am preaching so nicely. That's not what Srila Prabhupada is saying. Srila Prabhupada is saying because of following the footsteps of Śrī Caitanya Mahāprabhu to the T, right? Exactly in the footsteps of Mahaprabhu, and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because of this, the effect is almost as potent as during the time of Lord Caitanya Mahāprabhu. Our preachers mainly belong to European and American countries, yet by the grace of Lord Caitanya, they have tremendous success wherever they go to open branches. Can you tell me, do we see that type of acceptance today? That wherever we go, immediately people are taking to Krishna consciousness and turning into serious devotees, surrendering their lives. Are you experiencing the same thing? What we hear at the time of Srila Prabhupada, are we seeing that now also? How many of you think it is yes? You can raise your electronic hand. How many of you think it is no? Parima Mataji.
No, Mataji, yes, it is for yes.
Oh, it's for yes. Okay, you think the same effect is happening even now? Okay. And how many of you think no, it's not the same?
Mataji, sorry, I missed the question. Could you repeat the question again,
So
please?
here Srila Prabhupada said in the purport that of course nobody can compare to Mahaprabhu. So the context here is that Mahaprabhu, whoever came in touch with Mahaprabhu, who simply saw Mahaprabhu immediately, they all turned into Vaishnavas. And not only them, all villages and villages were turning into Vaishnavas simply by coming in touch with Mahaprabhu. And then Srila Prabhupada is saying, Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nobody can compare to him or to his potencies. However, because we are strictly following in his footsteps, and because we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are seeing almost the same results in our preaching. Our students are mostly Americans and Europeans, but wherever they go, they are converting, they're turning people to Vaishnavas. So my question was, what Srila Prabhupada said this in the purport, are we seeing that also now? That wherever we go and we preach, we see that villages and villages and cities, everybody is just turning to Krishna consciousness and, surrendering their lives to Krishna. Are we seeing that today?
No, Mataji.
No, we are not seeing that. Okay, Mataji doesn't agree. Anyone else who doesn't agree?
I agree, Mataji.
You agree that it is happening now also?
Yes.
Okay.
Mataji, a kind of, some people are becoming devotees, but some are not. So
I'm asking, is it the same rate at which it happened when, because Srila Prabhupada is saying that almost at the same rate, almost as when Mahaprabhu was doing, it's happening now. Our devotees are traveling and people are becoming devotees, Srila Prabhupada said. So, and we also saw how the movement spread all over the world in a very short time, isn't it? And all over the world practically. And they were literally surrendering to Krishna, joining temples, hundreds and thousands. Do we see it happening at that rate, even now, people taking to Krishna consciousness. And when I say taking to Krishna consciousness, surrendering to Krishna, seriously, just surrendering. Do we see that happening now? Do you feel that same, what do you say? Like the way it is explained here in Chaitanya Charitamrita, villages and villages are turning to Krishna consciousness. Do we see that happening now? What do you think?
No, but still, we are seeing that people are taking the Krishna consciousness, but maybe not the same rate that was happened during the
Yes.
Mahaprabhu and during Srila Prabhupada.
Okay. So those who feel that it is the same thing, even now, it's happening the way Srila Prabhupada said that now also it is happening. Prabhuji, you want to say?
No, I was saying, like, I was thinking, instead of making a point, in Mahaprabhu's time, like when you read this, when Mahaprabhu personally walked through the South India, his direct presence were so powerful that it was like a blazing fire. Everybody would become a devotee.
Yes.
And when you compare it with Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada's preaching in 1960 to 80s, I mean, until late 70s, was also very powerful. Like, so many people immediately came in contact with Prabhupada and they became devotees. He circled the globe 14 times, established 108 temples in such a short time, and 10,000 devotees, in fact. So that was also, the expansion was really powerful and unprecedented during that time.
Yes. Do we see
But
that today?
right now, the spread is continuing, but at a steady pace rather than the explosive, I would say. Because in some places like India, Ukraine, and there the speed is, the rate is growing.
Mhm.
But I would say, like, some Western countries, it's more steady, but it's going on,
Yeah.
But Mahaprabhu has said, no, Prithivite ache yate
Chatanagraha.
nagarati gram sarvatra pracharo hoive moro naam. So
Yes.
that prophecy is already there. It will be fulfilled, because it is a prophecy and it has already been fulfilled, but it's still going on. Uh, Sometimes it may not always look as dramatic as Mahaprabhu's Leela, but the prophecy is unfolding steadily.
Yes, it is
Sometimes,
unfolding. Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes it spreads through cities, sometimes in rural communities, sometimes even through, small pockets of devotees, but the current is unstoppable, I would say, because of uh, because there are sincere devotees like yourself, who are preaching, and through devotees like you, there will be some soul who will be attracted and uh, take to Krishna consciousness. That's my point. And once someone takes to Krishna consciousness, he I mean, most of the time, he's secured. He doesn't
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
But still, that is there, that once you get the seed of bhakti, it is never destroyed. But at the same time, even after you get the seed of bhakti, the rate at which you advance varies. And for that, having a favorable atmosphere is required in the initial stages. Just like when you plant a seed, you have to fence it, protect it from wild animals, and you have to remove the weeds, you have to water it, so on and so forth. But once when it grows into a big tree, you don't need so much protection because it is strong. So even when many people we may be bringing, but we also need to nourish them to stay inspired and keep steadily progressing in Krishna consciousness. So, the thing is, it is not the same rate at which devotees are taking to Krishna consciousness, one thing. But we may go by numbers. Yes, we have lots of numbers. Many people are joining in some parts. That's okay, that's good. But that spirit in which it was taken in the 1960s and 70s, that is not, it's not the same at present. What I'm trying to get at is that the speed at which people take to Krishna consciousness is dependent on some factors. Anyone remembers those factors? I think we had discussed before. Yes,
Yeah,
Madhya.
the potency of the person, why the movement grew leaps and bounds, because the Lord himself was there. And then Srila Prabhupada was Acharya, is a pure devotee and empowered by Krishna. So because of their potency, it had such an effect on people that it like at a great number it is. So it depends on the person who is giving the mercy and how much mercy he is willing to give. So these are the factors with which it is.
Yes.
There is a
Yes, Madhu. There are three factors. So the Lord himself giving, of course, he is the Supreme Lord, but the Lord also does not give directly. But the point here is the speed at which someone takes to Krishna consciousness is dependent on three factors. The rate at which one actually progresses, right? Progresses meaning he takes to Krishna consciousness full-fledged. He moves towards firm faith and towards surrendering to Krishna. Three factors. One is the power of the devotee. What do you mean by power of devotee? That means his devotional strength or his bhakti, his love. What is the measurement of the advancement of a devotee? His prema, how much love he has for the Lord, prema bhakti, right? How much love he has. The person who has the highest love, he is the topmost devotee. Like that. So again, we had studied how to calculate that prema also, we had studied some weeks ago, right? So the power of the devotee, that means his devotional power. So sometimes the devotee can be very powerful, and at other times he may not be so powerful. So when Srila Prabhupada is giving mercy, a very powerful devotee. And at present, yes, some of us are, making some small endeavors, but we may not, we don't have the power, that type of power. Even if you have good intention, we don't have that much power to actually transform them, right? To convince them to surrender to Krishna. That's one thing. Now, can we say that about all the devotees in the present day? Nobody has the power? No, you cannot say that also. The second factor is how much mercy the devotee wants to give. A devotee can be very powerful, extremely powerful, but he may not choose to give so much mercy. He may give only little bit of mercy. Then in that case, only to that extent that person can accept. So it takes a long time for him to actually come to the point of fully surrendering to Krishna. They don't progress so rapidly towards fully surrendering to Krishna. They take a long time. Decades and decades go on, still trying to, make life comfortable in this world, and at the same time, somehow or other carry on with our bhakti. And decades are passing by. That is also there, right? So one factor is the power of the devotee who's giving mercy. Second factor is how much mercy that the devotee gives. And the third factor is the nature of his devotional service. That means Is he a dasya bhakta or is he a, Sakhya bhakta in Sakhya ras, in Vatsalya ras, in Madhurya ras? One who is in Madhurya ras is superior. And also, the deity who he is worshipping. If he is worshipping Krishna, he's of a higher status, like that. So depending on these factors, the speed at which the devotee surrenders to Krishna, to the Supreme Lord, varies. That is there. So at the time of Mahaprabhu, can you imagine? He is giving mercy fully, and he is Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord. So instantly, simply by looking at him, people were turning to devotees, Vaishnavas, not one person. Villages and villages, whole villages were becoming devotees. And at the time of Srila Prabhupada, also, Srila Prabhupada said, almost we are getting that type of reception and results in our preaching. So we can understand the power of the Vaishnava who is giving mercy, and the mercy that he is willing to share, he is willing to give. By that, the speed at which people take to devotional service varies. So today also, if you are seeing that in some places people are really taking to Krishna consciousness seriously and surrendering their lives to Krishna, right? You should see by symptom. So at the time of Srila Prabhupada, during those years, 60s and 70s, people would just come and join the temple full time, immediately. Just drop everything and join. Surrender to Krishna. That means they were becoming convinced that this is what I have to do. That type of conviction. How many times and how many people do we see doing that today? It's not happening so much. Not so much. Yes, some few here and there we may see. But, and who was joining? Couples were joining, families and, young people, students, everyone. The younger generation. They were just joining, fully surrendering, becoming brahmacharis also, right? Book distribution parties. The temples would be filled every day, Mangalarti, filled with devotees. Not just in Mayapur and Vrindavan. All temples, every temple ISKCON center will be packed. Now you go and see in Mangalarti, is the temple packed every day? So, what do we have to do is, we have to raise the standards of individually and also collectively of our devotional service. Whatever Srila Prabhupada has taught us, that has to be actually practiced in our lives on a day-to-day basis. If we are not able to do moment-to-moment basis, at least on a day-to-day basis, that's there. So that's why I was just trying to tell you about those 3 points. The speed at which one takes to devotional service depends on these factors. So this is said by Srila Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Sandarbha. Because we are following, and also the potency of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Yes. Chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because here everyone took to chanting Krishna and Hari is said. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that the holy names of Krishna and Hari or chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra are so spiritually powerful. That chanting is so powerful that even today, as our preachers go to remote parts of the world, people immediately begin chanting Hare Krishna. Yes. Our preachers mainly belong to European and American countries, yet by the grace of Lord Chaitanya, they have tremendous success wherever they go to open branches. That means if we sincerely chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if we sincerely follow the path which is given to us, and that includes studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, understanding, then purity is the force. Then we can also influence. When we speak, we can actually bring a transformation in the hearts of the listeners. There is saraga and niraga speakers. Saraga means someone who still has attachment in his heart, lusty desires and so on and so forth, right? Such a person, even though he can speak very eloquently, it's not going to bring any transformation in the heart of the listener. It's not going to bring a change. It's not going to touch that person's heart. A saraga speaker. Whereas a niraga speaker, that means who doesn't have such material attachments, when such a person is speaking, then it will touch the heart. That is purity is the force. When there is purity, then we can touch people's hearts, and that can actually bring a revolution, right? Many people can actually take to Krishna consciousness and surrender. So how the world is taking to Krishna consciousness depends upon the purity of the devotees in the society. If we are not seriously practicing, we will not be able to influence the society, and we will not be able to touch the hearts of the people so that they can also take to Krishna consciousness. That's the point. So I think I will stop here today. I'll take any questions, but if anybody needs to leave, you can leave. Yes, Prabhuji.
Mataji, I have a couple questions, or
Yeah.
maybe a reflection, and I want to know your thoughts on it.
Okay.
One thing, it might be it might come across as controversial, but I would try to put it in a way that is not uh, sounds rude or anything. So Prabhupada repeatedly warned that disunity among devotees would slow the movement. Instead of like one strong family, we sometimes get divided by institutions or politics or sometimes personal ambition. Do you think that weakens the preaching force? Because that when we have some personal ambition, like, oh, I want to preach for the sake of preaching, not for the sake of a post, or rather, uh, because admittedly, it has, it's quite visible these days. Like there are some cases where we see
Yes.
um, such situation occurs in temples.
Yes.
So how do we relate that to uh, to the force, like the purity of preaching?
Yes, certainly. It certainly weakens, because the thing is, when you say purity, we want our goal means ultimate goal is to develop love, prema, Krishna prema. But to even begin, we have to enter into pure devotional service. Purity means we have to have pure, it should be pure devotional service. Pure devotional service means anyabhilashita shunyam. But so that means when if somebody is doing even 24 hours of, he's chanting Hare Krishna 24 hours, but his motivation for doing that is so that I can get a better post, I'll become more famous, I will become wealthy. If that is there, that is not pure devotional service. Rather, that is called Rajasi Bhakti. Even if he's doing 24 hours. What to speak of if you're only doing 16 rounds, and that also you're not doing very attentively, and maybe you're not even doing 16 rounds. That's how it will start falling away when you maintain, because all these are weeds. Pratishtha, right? Kanaka and Kamini, you are attracted to these things, then this will dry up whatever, you certainly it will weaken. So that will be reflected. That's why when I said Saraga and Niraga speaker. So somebody is preaching and he's a Saraga speaker, that means he won't be able to touch. So yes, you're right. If we have such ambitions, so our ambition should be bhakti-mātra kama. That means to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even if I'm not a pure devotee yet, that means I'm not meeting the standards. Even in the present state, we can have the purity of purpose. Even if I'm doing karma to maintain my family and so on and so forth, that work can be done simply as an offering to the Supreme Lord. I can do that. That is possible. Bhakti-mātra kama. Right? But if I have kamana, I want this and that, then I'm mixing. It's like you have milk and you mix water in that. You keep adding more and more and more water. Eventually, 90% is water and hardly any milk is left. That is the situation. So, you're right. What you said is right.
One other point is, Mataji, the modern society is so deeply absorbed in, materialism, technological distraction and atheistic philosophy. Like, there are so many different philosophies, and but in the ancient, like in Mahaprabhu's time, life was very simple. People were more pious and easier to attract through Harinam or even through a little bit of preaching. Now people are more skeptical, busy, less willing to surrender. Is that the
Actually,
time?
yes, both are there. I mean, back then they had that varnashram set up, no doubt. But at the same time, at that time, they had different challenges. You see, Mayavadis were very, very powerful. Like Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. They were like, like these sharks. It's not easy. What to speak of easy? It's not possible. For devotees, it is suggested just stay away from them because you'll be doomed. But because Mahaprabhu was there, he was able to convert such great stalwart Mayavadis like Prakashananda Saraswati and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So what I'm trying to say is there are challenges at all times. But yes, in the current situation, they're so degraded, completely steeped in the modes of ignorance and passion. Goodness is not even there. Is that going to affect the speed at which people take to Krishna consciousness? Yes, because mercy is coming, of course. But after the mercy comes, now you have to practice Krishna consciousness. If you're living in the temple 24/7, engaged in from morning to night, you're engaged in services in the temple, then yes, you can stay, you can still be progressing. But if you're working in such a materialistic, passionate atmosphere, how far can you stay unaffected by that influence? We practice little bit at home, but most of the time we have to deal with that energy. So it's like, it's a very difficult task. It's a very difficult task. As opposed to if you are living in a devotee community. Imagine if all the grihasthas lived in a community where there is only devotees. Everybody is practicing Krishna consciousness. Everyone's goal is the same. Everyone wants to do pure devotional service. And for their livelihood, they don't have to go and work for non-devotees who are actually asuras. They don't need to work for them. Rather, self-sufficient community. In such an atmosphere, that is an atmosphere of mode of goodness. People can really, devotees can very soon come to full surrender in such an atmosphere and in that association. And naturally, lifestyle will be simple living there, because you will be depending on the systems which are given in Shastra. So that will save you so much time for hearing Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, associating with devotees. Everything works very nicely towards moving towards pure devotional service.
Thank you, Mataji. One follow-up question, Mataji. Sorry, if anybody else has any questions they can ask, I can.
Yeah, they're
Sure.
not raising their hands, so go ahead.
Okay, so at what point, like assuming that I'm doing my sadhana, 16 rounds, and trying my best to avoid the uh, offenses, and reading Prabhupada books, trying to engage in services wherever possible. At what point I would feel like, or at what point I would, okay, at what point I would feel like, okay, I have gone to the next level of bhakti, or I have, at least gone to the next stage.
You can see.
The reason I'm asking is because when devotees preach with some personal ambition, I at one, but there's a part of me think when I try to introspect their preaching ideas or ambitions, I do have a sincere I do think that they have a sincere feeling, to take Krishna to others and let um, many people take up to Krishna consciousness and become devotees. But there is a disconnect. I'm trying to understand what is that disconnect. Even if their desire is giving out Krishna consciousness to others as a preaching, but where is that personal, ambition comes? Because it is clearly evident, okay, there is some kind of anarthas are there
Yeah.
when giving Krishna to others. The
So
reason I am trying to tie up this point with my first point is that at what level I would know that, okay, I'm good for preaching, or I have come to the at least from the neophyte stage to the madhyam stage, or a little more than what I used to be.
Hmm. So
I,
when
I'm
you
not sure. I'm not sure if I made my question.
let me repeat it, then you'll know if I got your question.
Yeah.
So you are asking me that at what point can you know if you have moved to a higher stage of advancement
Yeah.
in Krishna consciousness, so that you can see yourself as now qualified to actually go and preach. And the reason you're asking this is, when people preach, even though they have this intention to give this Krishna consciousness to others, and you want people to join Krishna consciousness, but still they have some anarthas where there is some desire for some recognition, maybe,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
things like that. So those anarthas are there, because of which the person is not really a niraga speaker, because of which he may not be able to give Krishna consciousness 100% the way it is supposed to be given. So at what stage can I see myself as, okay, now I can give it properly? Is that your question?
Yeah. Yeah. You put it way, way better than I put it, Mataji.
So I don't think we will ever feel that way, that okay, now I'm qualified, because really the qualification is that yasya amatam matam, yasya matam amatam. One who thinks that now I know actually does not know. This is Shastric statement. One who really understands that I don't know, he has understood something about the Lord and about, the philosophy. So, and this realization, this understanding we get, the more we hear about the glories of the Lord, about the glories of bhakti, and the more we come in and we hear from, pure devotees, the more we understand how insignificant and unqualified we are. So the more you will hear, the more unqualified you'll feel. So it's not going to be like, okay, now I have, materially, generally, okay, after I cross so many grades or I get this certificate, now I'm qualified to do so and so job. It's not like that. Then what is the criterion? When can I actually speak? Now that order is there for each and every one. Amar आज्ञाय होया तारो ei desh, jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. So whatever you hear properly and you repeat it. You may repeat it initially just to your immediate, maybe to one friend or maybe to your family members. You just say it because, and when you speak, that is when you will catch yourself, whether you are actually, doing it properly or you're making some mistakes or not, right? So first step, and also you have to always stay in connection with, because simply speaking won't work. It goes together. You have to hear and then you have to speak. If I don't hear one way, after some time, I will feel like I'm exhausted. Exhausted meaning, I I I don't feel that, because I need to be filled also. So therefore, on one hand, I keep hearing. So hearing, you have to also, you read from Srila Prabhupada's books, definitely, but also you have to hear from a live person. Hear meaning you have to be in connection. At least you have to be in connection. You should have a guru, a live guru. And that person, if that person is not a guru, he's somebody who's also in touch with guru. That way also it will help. So hear constantly, and whatever you hear, you share. And pray to Krishna, and you keep doing. But this order is there for when once we come to ISKCON, we have this responsibility. But one thing that we should make sure is, that is why hearing is important. We don't have this auditing system, where what the person is speaking is being checked by authority. Generally, in traditional schools, what happens is there is guru and he has his students. Those students are teaching the next batch of students, and this guru is correcting his immediate students. Wherever they're going wrong, he corrects. So that way, and he will see, right, when they are teaching, he will correct. So that way the message is maintained, the purity of message is maintained. Now what is happening is, people are just like, sometimes we play this dumb charades, right? You say something to the neighbor, everyone is sitting in a circle, you say something in the ear, and by the time it comes, it's something else, completely different, because people are changing in the middle. They're not passing on the message as it is. That is the problem. Everybody starts making their own khichdi, and finally when it comes out, when they present, so the audience that is hearing is not getting the message as it is. So it's very important to pass on the message as it is. First of all, we have to hear properly, learn properly, and give the same message. If you're able to do that much, you can start right away. So to start with, we can even just read. So our reading is important. And even if you just told what is there in the purport, the same thing, without drawing any other conclusions from that much if we do, that is a great service. And from there, as you keep doing, as you become committed to that service, you will see that the Lord will help you. You'll get help from different sources, right? You will certainly, there will be help will come. We just have to be committed. So important thing is learn properly first, and whatever you have learned, give the message as it is. And am I qualified to do that or not? Yes, we should certainly seek permission from our guru. It can be your immediate, Shravan Guru, Shiksha Guru, whoever is there with whom you're, connected. So certainly seek the blessings and then start taking blessings of Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So let us end here today. Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai,
Right.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.